Paul Pogba is back. After serving his doping ban, the former Manchester United and Juventus star is free to return to the pitch. But where will he go next? Will he rejoin Man United, make the move to MLS, or head to Saudi Arabia? Stay tuned for all the latest transfer news and updates. Paul Pogba free to return to pitch as doping ban ends. Paul Pogba can return to competition from Tuesday as the former France star's 18-month doping ban expired, but he needs to find a club. The player who graced the midfield of Manchester United and Juventus is hoping to put 3 chaotic years behind him and is searching for a new employer with a view to playing in the 2026 World Cup, with David Beckham's MLS side Inter Miami among his possible options. The 91 times capped midfielder suffered through repeated injuries and patchy form that led to his departure from United in 2022. He returned for a second stint at Juventus, where problems continued to dog him. A failed drugs test after a game in Italy in August 2023 resulted in a 4-year doping ban, which was reduced on appeal. Pogba blamed a food supplement prescribed by a doctor he consulted in the United States for the positive test. Juventus terminated his contract last November, but Pogba is training at 1,000%. He's in good spirits. He has received many offers, a member of his entourage insisted. His ultimate dream remains next year's World Cup, but a player who turns 32 this week would first have to convince France coach Didier Deschamps. Pogba is in regular contact with Deschamps, one of his advisors for sporting decisions, according to one of the player's close friends. But who could be interested in signing a player whose last match dates back to September 3, 2023 when he lined up Juventus? In January, Pogba said on social media he had received proposals, not very interesting stuff, such as going to play in Russia, but that's not the goal. A contract, he admitted, doesn't depend on me, but on a lot of other things. Inter Miami could be a solution. Pogba lives in Florida and was in the stands for Inter's first MLS match this season, against New York City on February 23rd. He is working on his physical condition with the fitness coach of Lionel Messi, the team's Argentinian superstar. Pogba has been sharing photos of his intensive training sessions with his 62.7 million Instagram followers, along with fashion shots, his other passion. French club Marseille are also reported to be interested, with football director Mehdi Benatia having played alongside Pogba at Juventus. But Marseille may not want to take the risk of enlisting a player whose form will be uncertain after such a long absence. Pogba's personal life has also been through a turbulent period. He was the victim of a kidnapping and extortion case in 2022 for which his brother Matthias and 5 of his childhood friends received prison terms. "I can finally turn the page on this extremely painful period," Pogba said. Paul Pogba's doping ban ends. Former Man United and Juventus star weighing up move to MLS or Saudi Arabia after serving reduced suspension. A move to MLS or Saudi Pro League could be on the cards for Paul Pogba, who returns after serving an 18-month doping ban. What happened? Paul Pogba took a significant step toward his return to professional football on Tuesday, March 11th, as the former Manchester United and Juventus midfielder completed his 18-month ban, imposed during the 2023-24 season after testing positive for a banned substance. The bigger picture. Pogba failed a drug test following the Udinese-Juventus game on August 20, 2023, as it was revealed that a non-endogenous substance was found in his test results, leading to a provisional suspension on September 11, 2023. He was slapped with a 4-year ban for doping by the Italian Anti-Doping National Tribunal on February 29, 2024. On October 4, 2024, the ban was reduced to 18 months, which meant that he could begin training from January 2025. His contract with Juventus was mutually terminated in November 2024. According to Italian outlets Gazzetta and Repubblica, hat-tip Football Italia, Pogba's most likely destinations remain the Major League Soccer, MLS, or the Saudi Pro League. After spending time with his family in Miami, Pogba could be considering a move to David Beckham's Inter Miami or the wealthy Saudi Pro League, where French stars like N'Golo Kanté and Karim Benzema play for Al Ittihad. Not just that, but former Juventus director Pavel Nedved has recently joined Al-Shabaab as a sporting director, too. Did you know? The last time Pogba played a full 90 minutes was almost exactly 3 years ago, on March 12, 2022. during Manchester United's 3-2 victory over Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford. What next for Paul Pogba? While there is no confirmation regarding where Pogba will play next, there has been speculation about the World Cup-winning French midfielder returning to Manchester United for his third stint. In fact, former Red Devils striker Dwight Yorke was ready to give him another opportunity at a United side that is experiencing inarguably their worst season since the turn of the millennium. It's an interesting take. I would give Paul Pogba a third chance, definitely, because of what United currently have and because of what we know he is capable of producing, Yorke said last month. Obviously, with 2 months left, I would say, let's have a look. Give him a contract. You've got time here to prove yourself. You can come and play and help us out with the situation. I'm sure Pogba would be very keen. Maybe he might want a long-term deal because of the security. I can see why his name has been mentioned because United have struggled, and Pogba is a damn good player. Even though he's 31, I think he's far better than what we have now. And if you're going to get a player for free who's far better than all our players in midfield, then you do it. Paul Pogba doping ban ends today. Will he return to Man United? Paul Pogba is free to play football again as of today after his doping ban ended. Pogba has not played football since September 4, 2023 after he failed a doping test for non-endogenous testosterone. In a lengthy legal process, Pogba initially was banned for 4 years but later had his suspension cut to 18 months. He left Juventus by mutual consent in November 2024 and has been a free agent ever since. His doping ban has now expired as of today, meaning he is free to join a new club and play football right away. It is claimed by Nicolo Schira that Pogba is desperate to sign for a new club as soon as possible and kickstart his career. Pogba is arguably the most high-profile free agent currently available in world football. His most likely destinations appear to be the MLS with Inter Miami or the Saudi Pro League with Al Shabaab. He has been heavily linked to Man United given their struggles and recent injury problems in midfield. Indeed, rumors have swirled in recent weeks suggesting that United are considering bringing in Pogba until the end of the season to stem the tide after the team dropped to 14th place in the Premier League. Fabrizio Romano has said, though, that there is nothing concrete about United's interest in re-signing Pogba. What did Romano say? I don't have any confirmation at this stage, Romano said when asked about Pogba. Nothing really concrete. In case something changes, we'll update on that. Were Pogba to join Man United, it would be the third time he has worn the Man United shirt. He first joined United as a 16-year-old from Le Havre in 2009 as one of the most talented youngsters in European football. However, a lack of first-team chances saw him quit United for Juventus on a free transfer in 2012. At Juve, he established himself as one of the best central midfielders in the world, winning 4 league titles and reaching the Champions League final. This led United re-signing him in 2016 for a world record transfer fee at the time. He spent 6 years back at United, but despite some great moments, he never fulfilled his talent in an underperforming side. He won just 2 trophies. These arrived in his first year back in 2016-17, as he claimed a Europa League and EFL Cup under Jose Mourinho. He left United on a free transfer again in 2022 to return to Juventus, but his second spell in Turin was an unmitigated disaster. He played just 214 minutes of football for Juve as he was ravaged first by injuries before failing a doping test in 2023. This eventually led to the rescission of his contract. The 31-year-old's doping ban has now expired. 2 Man United staff members quit as ex-Arsenal and Liverpool men suddenly stepped down. Manchester United have seen 2 key members of their medical department step down from their positions as the club continues on its cost-cutting mission under co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Manchester United have seen 2 members of their medical department quit Old Trafford. Head of sports medicine Gary O'Driscoll is set to depart in addition to senior men's first team Dr. Jim Moxon, who previously worked for Liverpool. The former joined United from Arsenal just 18 months ago. While Moxon quits after 2 years to take on another opportunity, it is said, it was seen as a coup when O'Driscoll made the move to Manchester, having spent 14 years with the Gunners, where he also served as chairman of the Premier League Doctors Group and as a member of the FA Medical Committee. O'Driscoll has also previously enjoyed spells with Ireland's rugby union side and with the British and Irish Lions for tours to New Zealand and South Africa. The lifelong United supporter's exit comes as a surprise, but his farewell, alongside Moxon, is only a coincidence and not connected to the club's redundancies. Report the Mail. It is claimed that the former Arsenal doctor has decided it is the ideal time to step down after implementing changes across the medical department. The exits are also said not to be connected to United's injury problems this season. The Red Devils squad have suffered more than 60 cases of injury and illness last term, and RUBEN Amorim is currently without 10 players, with the Portuguese coach not filling his substitute's bench on occasion. The two medics are set to remain in their roles during the transition to ensure medical support is not impacted. Lisandro Martinez and Amad Diallo are set to miss the rest of 2024-25, while Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Kabi Mainu, Manuel Ugarte, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, Altai Bayender and Johnny Evans all remain on the injury list. United co-owner has outlined the club's injuries as a reason for Amorim's struggles since being appointed. He believes the head coach has done an impressive job and has backed him to remain in the hot seat for a long time to come. If I actually look at the squad which is available to RUBEN, I think he is doing a really good job, to be honest, Ratcliffe told the BBC. I think RUBEN is an outstanding young manager. I really do. He's an excellent manager and I think he will be there for a long time. You are beginning to see a glimpse of what RUBEN can produce. I think you saw a glimpse of it against Arsenal. How many players against Arsenal on the bench did you recognize? How many have ever worn a Manchester United shirt for the first team? As there's no squad left, we are down to the last 10 or 11 men in the squad really of proper first-team players. RUBEN is doing a super job. Jean-Philippe Mateta to Man United transfer truth as Victor Gyökeres's decision pending. Manchester United have been linked with several strikers ahead of this summer, including Jean-Philippe Mateta, Victor Gyökeres, and Victor Osimhen. Manchester United have reportedly not made any major decision over signing a new striker this summer. The Reds have struggled badly in front of goal this campaign, with United scoring just 34 times in the Premier League so far. Current Reds strikers Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, meanwhile, have netted just 13 times between them across all competitions. Recent reports have seen United linked with a summer swoop for Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta. Sporting CP frontman Victor Gyökeres and Galatasaray forward Victor Osimhen, on loan from Napoli, have also been heavily linked with a move to Old Trafford. However, according to journalist Fabrizio Romano, United currently have no concrete plans to sign any of the strikers they have been linked with. He claims that the Reds' budget will influence any decision. There are reports on Osimhen, Gyökeres, Mateta. There will be more, he said in his newsletter for Give Me Sport. The reality is that United have not made any decision on the striker yet, and the budget will make the difference. So it's still early to know who they're going to sign. Nothing advanced at this stage. United opted not to sign a striker this January, something head coach RUBEN Amorim previously admitted was a risk. The Portuguese did, however, admit that their stance will be revisited this summer. What I feel is the club is taking its time, he said. We know the urgency of the moment for the team, but everybody here doesn't want to make the same mistakes of the past. In the summer we will see, but like I said, we are being really careful with transfers because we did some mistakes in the past. We are fighting for our jobs until the summer and I am just focused on these games. I think this is a moment that is hard to turn things around in just a few games. It's going to be like that really hard until the end of the season, so we are taking that risk you talk about. We want a different thing in the team, different profiles, and that is my decision to do that, so we are taking some risks, but it is the way we want to proceed. We want to win some games and I'm always complaining to improve the players. I want certain type of players with a different profile and we are changing right away. I knew when I chose this profession that you have the risk of results, and I knew when I came here, I looked at the schedule, I looked at the team, and my decision changing everything in the middle of the season without new signings was a danger for a coach. But I have a clear idea of what I want to do and I take these risks because, in the end, it's going to pay off. But I'm not naive. I have said that many times. This is a sport of results and we are in a difficult situation. Why Man United have made the right decision about Old Trafford. Two things are very apparent from the polished video Manchester United have produced to unveil the club's intention to build a brand new Old Trafford. The first is the opening message, A famous quote from 19th century Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli. What Manchester does today, the world does tomorrow. It harks back to the late Victorian age, when Manchester, having been dubbed Cottonopolis, was the industrial center of the world. With industrial success came other innovations and new ways of thinking, a cosmopolitan atmosphere and vibrant culture. It ties into the best-in-class ethos that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have wanted to work towards since a minority takeover and agreement to assume day-to-day control was completed last year. One of Ratcliffe's first ambitions was to create a Wembley of the North that could be the leading stadium across the whole United Kingdom, and that is what the confirmed plans now point to following the announcement of a 100,000 capacity venue. The other is a line delivered by former club captain Gary Neville, who narrates the video and forms part of the Old Trafford regeneration task force. A new future on familiar ground, he said. That is because Old Trafford, quite as we know, it will be no more. The stadium is to be bulldozed and a new structure built on the site the club has called home since 1910. The plans are certainly striking: 3 spires, the tallest pointing 200 m into the sky, representing the prongs of the Red Devil trident. It was clear that Old Trafford, while still the largest club stadium in the country, had been overtaken as the best in class. No major redevelopment had taken place in almost 2 decades. It has been getting a little tired around the edges. The kind of modern open spaces of other rival stadia are lacking, and the leaking roof has been a problem since at least 2012. Demolishing Old Trafford and building a brand new home on the same site was one of 3 options. The others were to redevelop the existing stadium, or to leave the site altogether and start afresh somewhere else in the city. The latter was pretty soon discounted. The problem with redeveloping Old Trafford as it sits proved overly complicated for years. The club built the North Stand, now known as the Sir Alex Ferguson Stand, up to 3 tiers in 1995. The Stretford end to the west had been rebuilt a few years earlier as part of the movement towards all-seater stadia in England following the 1989 Hillsborough disaster. A redeveloped East Stand, complete with the famous glass-paneled facade above a new megastore, opened in 2000. The quadrants between those 3 stands were then later filled in by 2006. But the south, renamed the Sir Bobby Charlton Stand, has remained significantly smaller due to its awkward location and the engineering headache associated with building upwards due to the functioning railway line that runs parallel.